The monkey trade is pretty big.
That's great. It's
at
huge.
this time. But watch out for the. I've heard about this HIV virus that's been going around with the monkey trade.
I'm not scared of it. I think it's a hoax.
Just
I don't believe in
watch out.
HIV viruses.
With my microscopes, I've been able to examine the HIV
Shut up
virus.
about your microscopes.
Hey, you
Nobody
wish you
cares.
had my technology.
Nobody cares.
Yes.
Nobody wants that. Come on, teach us how to grind. Come on, Luna, teach us how to grind.
No way. No one will ever know. I hope it takes you guys 100 years to figure out my technique. Speaking about microscopes, you know that patient that vomited on Dr. Upton over here?
Yeah, that was an expensive laundry.
That took a
Yeah,
soak.
can I get a sample of that so I can observe it under my microscope?
Yeah, it's still on my shirt and tie at home.
Yeah,
What
that guy vomited on you like my prom date.
did you
All
think
right.
it was? Like yellow fever? I think it's yellow fever.
I'm not too sure, but
Tell me
Anyway.
more about it.
Charles Monet came in presenting with a headache, nausea, black vomiting on our friend here. Slight jaundice, blood clotting, hemorrhaging across all orifices of his body. We took a biopsy of his liver. It was absolutely liquefied along with his veins. So far, diagnosis unclear. Any ideas?
So, wasn't he the Frenchman who works in that sugar factory in the water pumping facility?
Yeah, yeah.
And also heard that he had a pet crow and he liked to feed monkeys in the wilderness. So,
Where'd you hear that?
I heard that from his physician who referred him to us, and from the cab driver that delivered him.
The possible infectious diseases that I think it might be cholera and typhoid fever.
Not yellow fever?
No.
I'm curious. Why?
All right. Well,
Why typhoid?
based on the symptoms, initially I believe it was cholera because of the explosive diarrhea and the vomiting. But upon further examination, I started to believe it was the typhoid fever because of the way the symptoms developed. And there was also a rash on him.
Oh, there was a rash.
So first he developed a fever, and then he began to vomit and had further health complications, which is typical of typhoid fever. The symptoms develop in stages. And then he also had a fever or a rash that began on his chest and kind of radiated outwards. The drugs or the antibiotics we gave him were not effective, which led me to believe that they may have developed a resistance, or it might be a resistant strain.
So, when I first heard about this case, I mean, when the nurse told me how much the patient puked on me, I initially thought it was yellow fever, just because his extensive contact with the monkeys. I mean, he feeds them by hand,
Yeah, it's definitely.
and he has that pet crow that he feeds from his stable. So it has to be a zoonosis virus, virus that crosses over from animal to human.
Yep.
Yellow fever. Also, the black vomit is
A staple
a
of,
big staple of the yellow fever, which is
also a staple of the
staple of
typhoid
the
fever.
typhoid. So, why don't you guys just humor me and we'll do a serology test on this patient and see what's going on. I don't really want to prescribe more antibiotics. I had a very brilliant microbiology professor tell me that too much antibiotics can cause resistance.
These are literally the worst diagnoses I have ever heard. You guys are idiots. I, Dr. Charles Vigu, believe that it's Marburg virus.
Not much is known about that virus.
I know a lot about that virus.
Do you think it could have traveled here? I mean, now that we have public transportation such as the airline system that creates a net
Absolutely.
that transfers viruses more easily and readily.
Absolutely. I, Dr. Charles Vigu, have done extensive research on the Marburg virus. and it's an African organism, but it has a German name because it was found in Marburg. It was discovered in 1967 at Behring Works, which is a facility that creates vaccines from the kidney cells of African green monkeys, which would be vectors for the disease. First man that caught it was a guy named Klaus. Do not get him confused for Santa Claus.
You don't want this. You don't want this present that
Yeah.
he's dishing out.
Old Saint Nick died in 2 weeks, and from statistics about the virus, there's a 1 in 4 kill rate. It's a single-stranded RNA negative sense virus, enveloped, and I think that if we took that lab sample and we did the test on it, it would come back with Marburg virus. That's my diagnosis. I'll call Ellen for funding.
Make sure we get it approved by HR.
I love HR.
And I have to make sure my direct deposit is going through too.
Hey, did you set up your direct deposit? The hospital's
No.
screwing up my direct deposit.
The direct deposit and my 401k, they're not matching it.
Bertha and she screwed everything up.
I think it's time for her to retire.
Yeah, it's not for retire. She might have Marburg. I think she's hemorrhaging, but it's just not coming out.
I know when it does come out, which did happen in our reception area, also on our doctor friend here.
Yeah, there's probably still some virus.
It kind of looks like spaghetti, the filiovirus, when it comes out.
So we'll get the tissue sample, send it over to the lab. If it tests positive for Marburg, I'm the greatest doctor alive.
Make sure you send it to me so I can use my microscope. Make sure we really have to hit this because funding's short, and we're talking about shutting our hospital down and making it a child care center.
Hey, you alright? What's wrong with him? Put the microscope down his throat. Come on. What's going on?
Is that Vomito Negro?